There are so many ways to look at history, to look at the history of the world, to look at the history of humanity. And there are so many lenses to look at our own lives with. And one of the great lenses of history is God's ways and man's ways. And one of the great lenses to look at our own lives through is, where do we allow God's ways to reign? And where are we all tied up in our own ways? If you study history, it is abundantly clear, not even close, that when men and women are allowing God's ways to rule their lives, to rule their decisions, to guide them, to focus them, beautiful things happen, incredible things happen, and people are better off not only unto themselves, but all of humanity is better off. So you look at the life of someone like Mother Teresa. She's not just a saint in a far-off place doing far-off things, but she's actually, our lives are improved because she lived, because she allowed God's ways to reign in her heart, in her mind, in her soul, and in her daily activity. And so I think it's helpful for us at different times to stop and take an inventory and look at our lives and say, where do I need to surrender to God again? I think there are times in our lives where we do turn to God and we say, all right, God, everything, whatever you want, I give it all over to you. And they're great moments in our lives. They're important moments in our lives. But our humanity is such that what we then tend to do is we tend to take it back from God little by little, until we realize, wow, I sort of gave it all over to God, but then I've taken it all back from God little by little, or I've taken most of it back from God little by little. It's time to surrender again to God and to His ways, and to refocus our lives and allow His ways to guide us. And if we do, there's an incredible joy that comes from that. There's a peace that comes from that. There's a beautiful detachment that comes from that it makes us freer. It makes us happier. It's just good for us. And so once again, we discover that God is not inviting us to something or just to dictate it upon us, but is inviting us to a greater love, a greater happiness, a greater joy, a greater peace, a greater freedom. And which of all of that don't you want? And when we really think about it, we discover that is exactly what we want. And so it's time again to surrender ourselves to God.
Did you know that 71% of the people that watch Matthew Kelly's videos are not subscribers? That makes no sense. We need to change that. Subscribe today. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and turn on those notifications so you never miss out on another great video ever again.